move to Germany costs more than $20,000. Let's break it down. For context, our household is two working adults and a dog. To apply for our visas, it cost us around $500. This doesn't just include what you pay the consulate, but additional expenses to gather all the necessary documentation. In my case, I also needed to get my degree recognized, which was 230 euros on its own. Our flights were $1,200 per person, one-way flights, and then it was $600 extra for baggage fees, and then our dog. Because of our dog, we chose to fly Lufthansa. We didn't fly basic economy, we flew the next tier up because it got you a checked bag. The biggest expense that we had was moving our things from the US to Germany. That cost us $8,400. That did also include storage for a couple of months while we were getting settled here in Germany. And for additional context, we had around 400 cubic feet of stuff. And to get settled into our first apartment set us back 7,200 euros. This includes the security deposit or Kaution and our first month's rent. It is not unusual at all to see a security deposit that is 3 times the monthly rent here in Germany. Arguably, I would say that that's pretty standard, but correct me if I'm wrong. One of the positive aspects of this, though, is that it goes into a savings account and accrues interest while you're renting. Our final cost without snacks is $19,300, and that also doesn't include the rental car that we needed to get from our apartment to the airport with all of our stuff. It doesn't include the health certificate for our dog because that was done for us by the shelter we adopted her from. If I'm remembering correctly, that would have cost us around $800 to $1,000. We didn't have to pay all of this at once. But as you can imagine, the movers required deposits, apartment, we had to pay all of that up front. And then we had other expenses once we got here to Germany, such as, getting a local SIM card, buying food, getting things that we weren't able to put into our suitcases, such as, adapters for our plugs, because the plugs here are different. I know a lot of people get on this app and make it sound like it's just so easy to pick up and move to a country like Germany, but the reality is that it is incredibly expensive, and this move took us several years of planning. I know that these costs might not be the same for everyone, depending on your job, depending on your family situation, depending on your household, depending on how much stuff you have. I'm sure there are plenty of people who didn't spend this much moving over here, but I wanted to go ahead and give a breakdown of what it looked like to move without having a company actually cover the entire thing. For others who've moved internationally, I would definitely be curious to hear how this compares to what your moving expenses were like.